We're just going to wing this podcast.
Well, I mean, as we do with everything else.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, sorry. Okay. I'm not used to these.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I do.
Do you listen to Joe Rogan?
No.
Oh,
I'm not.
Joe Rogan's biggest thing is he tells people to get up on their microphone like it's a dick.
Oh, yeah.
So you should be pretty damn good at that.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot, Luke. Thanks a lot.
Practice makes perfect.
Well,
your girlfriend's going to listen to this. She's like, what? Wait a minute. I'm learning new things.
I am a river guide, so it is tip worthy.
If it's in the field, it's not gay.
Right.
Totally.
Right.
Unless you're smiling.
Well,
you can't smile.
And no
eye contact.
No eye contact.
Well,
that's the rule.
And I also heard there's nothing gay with a dip in your mouth.
All the other rules go out the window.
Yeah, so hey, we're good.
All right, so let's get this started.
All right.
The Crossed Rifles podcast. We've had some delays, mostly due to me. We've had some technical difficulties, mostly due to Dave. And no, Dave does a great job.
Well, in which I have to add, my girlfriend was quite pissed when I was up in Alaska. Like, there was one Monday that I think it was the first time you skipped one.
Uh-huh.
She calls me up. She's like, why isn't there a podcast? She's like, I'm so used to like listening to this every Monday. And she's like, you need to get on Luke. Like, I need my podcast. Like,
that makes me, we have a lot of feedback, and I it's the people that are listening right now that are going to tell us how much they love the podcast. And it still surprises me, so I'm reinvigorated. We've got, I think we've got all of our technical difficulties figured out.
Yeah. It was just a receptacle.
Yep. It was just a thing. Right.
Yeah.
There was a ground thing.
Yeah, the receptacle. Yeah.
Oh, is that what you call that? The electrical.
The plug.
The electrical receptacle.
The plug.
Say that 7 times.
Plug. If you want electrical receptacle.
That's only one.
You guys use like so much more cooler words. Like, they were talking like one time. They were like, "Oh yeah, you got to vectorize this file, send it to the JPEG and the HFIG and blah, 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 vector."
That's
I'm like,
cool. I wish I could
vectorize
a file.
I want to vectorize something.
So we got technical difficulties figured out. There wasn't many. We got my schedule a little bit more figured out now that you're back. That's awesome. Thank you.
Till next week.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
he's gone. He came back to tease us.
Uh-huh.
And then we also
we
got some software downloaded that we're going to be able to do remote podcasts. And that was the biggest thing that we've been waiting on. We wanted to make sure that we got that right. So we've done a lot of tests, and we can link things up, and we've got some guests that we're going to invite on and do remote.
That'd be fun.
And I don't know. It depends on your schedule. Oh, by the way, this is Adam Siebenauer.
Oh.
For everybody, a lot of people listening to the podcast might not know you, because some people, we get a lot of views of people that aren't here, like they're not active customers at the shop, so they don't understand. And although we've talked about you, you're the general manager of the store, which means you do all the shit I don't want to do.
It's true.
I mean, that's in a lot of other things, but the problem with that is that you actually have to work, contrary to what I do. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm planning on having you be a regular here on the podcast, but you might be working.
Well, I mean, I do whatever you call on me to do.
Yeah, I suppose. I am the boss.
Honestly, I would much rather be talking to you guys in this room about cool stuff like this than being on the phone with like some customer support for hours.
Which is a thing that you do.
A lot. A lot.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Better you than me.
Yeah, this is fun.
None of us have patience for that, yet he's been tasked with it.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Like, you asked my girlfriend, like, whenever we have to deal with customer service, like in our personal lives, she has to call them, because like 5 seconds in the conversation, I'm like, let me talk to your freaking manager right now. Like, it's like I have no patience for that.
I will.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're just loud.
I can't even hear.
Everybody's gonna figure it out. Yeah, turn your volume up. We can hear you.
I know. I might take these off. I feel like
it might be better for you.
Well, my ADD.
Yeah.
I feel like I won't talk.
We take ours about half the time. We take ours off. Yeah, the customer service thing. I'm that guy. I don't hear very well, so I almost have to put it on speakerphone, or else I'll feel like I'm cramming my phone up to my ear. And it's not that it's the hearing loss. It's that many times they don't speak very good English, and on top of that, I don't hear very well.
Right.
I get frustrated immediately, And I've just told people, I can't understand you. You need to get somebody else. And I've gone through 3 or 4 people. Nope, can't understand you either. Next.
Right.
Another thing that's awesome to see Luke go through is when someone is a customer service representative is talking over him.
Oh my God.
Won't let him.
Dave
It happened the other day. Oh my gosh, it was funny. He just kept mute.
I did. I muted and I was mother F this and this guy. And if he talks over me one more time, and he's a New York representative. And in New York, those people are just different, right? And they treat you like they're from New York. And he almost talked himself out of a $13,000 sale.
It was close.
Really close.
It was close.
I was just going to be like, you know what? I don't need this.
We were just calming each other down. It's all right. We were making excuses for him.
We were, because we wanted the stuff.
Yeah.
We wanted what
That's
he was
the thing.
selling.
We want the stuff.
He was a horrible sales guy, but he's got a great product.
If there's another company that had the same stuff, he'd been like, oh, fuck off. Like, no.
I'll get this from Jim down the road.
Yeah.
No, you got to make it really easy for Luke to give you his money.
That's it.
That's
number one rule in all of business. Make it easy for the customer to give you money.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And I'm that guy. So let's talk about Adam Siebenauer.
Let's talk about
one of Adam's favorite topics.
Oh, geez.
That's not true. I'm the conceited one here. No, we wanted to have you on the podcast because it's fresh in your mind. You are an Alaskan fishing guide.
Yes.
And I know there's that's an official title. Like you had to do a thing. You're a guide.
Right.
That's
well, it's like I had to waste most of my life on a river and
there's like licensure and there's a thing.
The licensure is hard, right? It's just it's a state issue permit through Alaska.
Okay.
Right. So the thing is, and our lodge has done it before. You can like put any monkey out on a boat and like have them guide somebody, right? But
we've talked about it. They do sometimes.
Right? And it's like that's not. I mean, that's you got somebody to row the boat for you for the day. So like our lodge like kind of prides themselves on our river guides and our charter guides. I mean, we have like both ends of the spectrum, like as far as like fishing goes up there. That's why I loved up there. But like to be a quality river guide, I mean, it's oarsmanship. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like you can't. I'm back. I'm doing the whole. I'm really like I don't stay still very well.
Yeah,
it's okay. I'll tape it to your forehead if it's a real problem.
Right.
Don't worry.
Talk like an Italian. You move along.
Yeah.
Is that racist?
They got the
As a reminder.
But that's what's cool about our lodge. Like you can go out on the ocean, you can go out on the river, but our crew of river guides has we built a really good crew. We're booking out 2 years in advance now for silvers. But that's just we got experienced guys, and that's the biggest thing about being a guide up there is just getting the experience.
Well,
you got to put the years in. Like I rode my main stretch of the river is 14 miles. So it's not only learning how to maneuver your boat around corners, because you don't I've drilled some crap with clients in it.
Sure.
I mean, and there's been days at low water where I know it's going to be super technical. I'll be like, all right, anybody got any neck or back issues? Because I'm going to hit some shit today.
Low water means the water's moving faster probably, and also more things jutting out.
Well, it's so our river is basically for our local listeners, the St. Joe. It's a real slow, flat river,
okay,
right? So it's not so much technical or not technical. It's not so much dangerous at low water, but it's super technical because every corner there's a log jam.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you got 14 miles to do in less than 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it's you got to learn how to push your boat downstream, which those boats are designed to kind of go into danger and pull out. But if you're constantly pulling your boat back, you're slowing down. So it's our guides, we don't sit down when we row, we stand up. And instead of pulling back away from danger, we push towards it and kind of maneuver around it. So that's why we're kind of.
That's why you're booked out 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
you can say it.
Yeah, the other lodge in town, they have really good guides and they provide a really good service. But I mean, I don't know. We're kind of priding ourselves right now because it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super cool to,
How long have you and I known each other?
So this is going to be the 4th year.
It is. Because they were still building that reputation 4 years ago when you and I met.
Well, it kind of, a little bit about me. I've been in this industry since I was like 11 years old. Mm-hmm. So it's like
outdoor firearms,
hunt clubs, shooting clubs, stuff like that. So it's like back in 2007, 2008, like I was like, we had GK River Bottom going. Dad was affiliated with that. I worked there. We had guide dogs. We had 2 pointers. Like that, that recession back then, like completely destroyed the outdoor tourism industry for 3 or 4 years. So with a combination of that and like we had a couple of years of low water that the fishing wasn't as productive, that really knocked the schedule down for everybody up there. And like right now everything's kind of coming back around. This last year was banner. Mm-hmm. Like we had the last couple of years been good fishing. So right now 2023 is completely booked out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, isn't it? Like, it's awesome.
And I've got to give, you talk about Craig a lot, right? But I've got to give you props for that. Craig's got to get some credit too. And I don't know the guy just from talking to you, but it sounds like he runs a really good crew and he does not try to put too many just monkeys that can row a boat.
No.
You're going to end up with some here and there. That's the way hiring people works. But yeah, I mean, and you, Dave, we've got some here. But yeah, no, you've got to take a lot of credit for that, whether you want to or not, because I know a lot of them are your returning clients.
Yeah, they are, and it is cool. Like I love having the return clients. I
don't, by the way. Wow. No, just stay here.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need to go to Alaska.
Yeah. Luke's always like, it's like, that biological clock's ticking, it's about time to like,
plant some of them seeds.
Yeah, like throw some roots down and just settle down a little bit.
You ain't getting any younger, buddy.
But talked him into it yet.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just not ready yet. Like, I mean, at the time, like when I know, like, it's time, then I just won't go to Alaska anymore. Like,
it's obvious that you love it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're passionate about it. You're good at it, and I think you enjoy the break. Just the change in scenery,
right?
I think you really enjoy that, and
it's a nice way to spend a year. And it's like, I love this job. Mm-hmm. Like I love working with everybody here. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we got a really awesome dynamic in the shop.
Well, everybody except Bob.
Well, he's our HR, our customer service,
Bob, the customer service
therapist. But this job, and like I've always worked with my body, right? I've always made money off my back. I'm like, my dad was so proud of me when you gave me the promotion to GM, because he was like, Adam, I've told you for years, you don't need to use your back anymore. You can use your brain. You're a smart dude. You're way smarter than I have ever been. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, so what you're trying to tell me is I got my brains from mom? But no, like, I mean, it's a whole different kind of way of working for me, right? So never in my life would I think that I'd be dealing with the ATF and the FBI on a daily basis. So there is a lot of stress.
In a positive way.
In a positive way.
Right. I would not have been surprised when I was younger, but not the capacity that we are dealing with.
Yeah, right. And believe it or not, they're not like the most empathetic like agencies out there.
No.
Right? So like the stress, I mean, there's a lot of stress that's involved with my job here, because I primarily, the last year, like with since the E-forms came out, like I've been dealing with, doing a lot of espresso stuff in shop. So it's like, I got to make sure like I put my fingers on things 3 times before I put it away, because it's just, it's always that stress. So it's like, that's always in the back of my mind. And like this time before I left for my fall season, like I was actually getting like physical signs of stress.
Oh yeah.
Like I not only did I look like dog shit, like my eye was twitching, high blood pressure.
I remember the eye twitch.
Yeah, dude.
Because I had an eye twitch at the same time, and we both looked it up, and it's like
It's stress.
It's stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had all that going on, and I'm like, okay, like, settle down. You're going to be going up to Alaska in a couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. I got up to Alaska, and I got on my boat. Within 2 days, all that stuff subsided.
Yeah.
But it's like, and what you're talking about, like, and I've read books about this. It's like the flow theory, right? You're doing something you love, you think you're good at, and it's something that takes you away from your everyday thinking, right? So it's like when I'm guiding, I'm not thinking. No. I'm just doing, and it just comes natural, and the clients see that, you know, and like they love that, and
it's like working the floor here,
right?
Dave worked the floor for probably the first year that you were employed.
Yeah, right about there.
And don't anymore. I'm almost never, unless we absolutely need it or they need a question. But you and I are, and I don't ever work the floor hardly, but you and I are in our element, and Dave is as well, or was. You just get in that motion.
Oh, I love it.
I know.
It's so much fun. It honestly, like when you're out on and I like it when it's pumping. I like that place jam packed.
Gun show Saturday.
Oh, dude.
37 people, 36 of them want to buy a gun right now. Let's do it.
You guys remember back like in COVID, right? Like literally like when they say motivated cash in hand.
Oh yeah.
Like we had like 10 guns in our case and maybe like 8 on the wall, and like gun show Saturday, people would literally just walk in the shop, handful of cash, drop it on the counter and say, what should I get
for that?
Yeah.
I miss those days.
There was 80 people in that little shop, you know?
Yeah.
It was full.
We were in a shop legitimately 1/9 the size of this building.
It was a little bit bigger than this studio we're in right now, by comparison. You know, I mean, it was small, and
people nonstop.
Yep.
You know, you want to know the interesting thing? Because it came to a screeching halt in 2022, right? Like the industry did.
Right.
We're going to move the same amount of firearms out of here this year than we did last year.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's what I like. And I told people on my boat, I'm like, you know, it's like, what did we do? Like around 4,500.
Yeah.
This year we're probably on track to do around 55.
Nah, we're gonna hit like 48.
48.
Yeah.
Which
if
still
the trend looks true, and then there's Black Friday and there's Christmas, and
I'm excited for holiday season. Yeah. I love it when I don't like slow days in the shop. I like it when I'm going out on the floor, I sell one gun, get them going on paperwork. While they're working on paperwork, I go to a new customer, sell a gun there, finish up their paperwork, and it's just like revolving all day long.
We're all not very good at standing still. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can.
This is a very large understatement.
I can sit at my desk, but then I have to be hyper focused, and as soon as I get up, I'm all over the place. So we're all the same way. Hey, speaking of which, squirrel. Did you see the bottle of blind squirrel whiskey that we
did.
had? Leo.
Really?
Leo went on vacation.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't understand because he brought it in and I wasn't here, and they set it on my desk and it said from Leo. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Leo got me a bottle of whiskey. He knows I've got a little whiskey display back there. And I didn't put two and two together. And so when he was in next, and I said, hey, thanks. He says, yeah, that's that squirrel every time. So we're going to have a show called The Squirrel Show. Every time we say squirrel, we're going to have to do a shot. Oh. We need to do that at the end of business.
Is that today?
No.
Oh,
no, it's early today.
It's after breakfast.
I was kind of jealous that we didn't do this at the end of the day because I didn't watch the YouTubes.
No, but you can hear us drinking whiskey on it.
Yeah, I was like, why don't I get to drink on my interview?
I told you you're going to be on more.
I'm just joking.
What were we talking about before we squirreled?
We were talking about moving around. I actually squirreled like 3 times while you're talking. So funny, like moving around. So I'm a pacer. Mm-hmm. Like I pace. Like yesterday. Like even I was working on a bunch of stuff where I was
doing laps in the shop.
Yeah. I was locked down to my desk for a while. And it's like because like normally like guiding like we're rowing all day. I'm doing something and like commercial fishing. When I was a commercial fisherman, you're doing something all day long, all day. Yesterday I just got up off my desk and like went for a walk for like 20 minutes, right? So But like I pace at home. Like there's at night. Like
I know.
I don't do it as much anymore. But like Luke used to get like the nightly texts where I'd sit around and drink my 6-pack at night, or a 6-pack occasionally. But like
now and then. More now than then.
But anyways, so like I'd sit around pacing and I'd get like I actually had some pretty good ideas. Some of them were like kind of like
some of your best general manager ideas have come after a 6-pack. I can tell, at least back then, like you said, you don't really do it much anymore, or haven't in a while. But I can always tell when you have finished your 6-pack because you pace around your house, you drink your 6-pack. And then I either get calls, or if it's a really good idea, I get a slightly slurred, or I either get text or I get a slightly slurred call.
Yeah, but
those are my favorite.
But they were good ideas.
They're great ideas.
They were awesome ideas. It's like
half the time, Dave and I had a whole conversation on Saturday that
we were both drunk.
I didn't remember until I woke up the next day and looked at the messages. And one of them is a picture of Dave in drag, so it was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Halloween costumes for anybody wondering.
But you didn't need to ruin it like that.
Right.
But like the movement story, like so yeah, I have a really just going back to like 3 things before we were just like squirreled out.
Yes.
So having a hard time standing still. Like, but my girlfriend and I went on a vacation just to go hiking. I think it was like Turkey Run down in southern Indiana or something like that. But anyways, get to a hotel room. I always wake up at like around 5-6 o'clock, right? She sleeps in, which is fine. I do my pacing and get all that out. So in the hotel room, like I'm pacing, she wakes up and she's like, how long you been awake for? I'm like, I don't know, like hour and a half, 2 hours, right? You know, and she's like, ha ha. She's like, look at your watch real quick, see how many steps you had. I had
2.5 miles.
I had 2.1 miles in the freaking hotel room in the morning. And then we went and did 7 miles that day. You know, it's just.
Well, you like you said, and to compare, we'll go back to compare the jobs that you've had. In fact, all of us kind of fall into a similar category. Some of us found it sooner, where I always kind of assumed I was just going to be a physical laborer. I didn't want to be. When I was younger, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to go to college, and I joined the military, and that's just a physical job. Dave, you've always had a physical job. I don't think any of us really thought we were white collar people, and you more recently, very much until you kind of came in and started working here, and then your off season, and then more and more and more. But you work with your body, and you just assume it's going to be that way, but you don't realize. Talking about your eye twitch and my hair going gray, which is legitimate, right?
Yeah.
This is a mentally draining job. Dealing with the legalities that you deal with and that I then have to deal with as well. Dealing with inventory, you can't make everybody happy. So 3 out of 100 customers are always pissed off about something. You got to deal with that because we're in Bryan, Ohio, which is that's those 3 people are half the town.
Right.
So yeah, it's a mentally draining job that you don't realize until you have it.
Right. And you want to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's impossible sometimes.
Do you sometimes think it was a lot easier when you just, like when you started, you were literally the sweeper guy. You were the guy that you opened boxes and dusted shit.
I had no idea what I was doing when I first started at this job.
Right.
Like my background in firearms is like I shot competitive shotgun. And we had 22s for squirrel hunting. Mm-hmm. Like Dad had like a 32 revolver from Uncle. No,
you're an outdoor guy. Your dogs and turkeys.
You're a gun. You're a user of guns.
Right.
Not you weren't a gun aficionado.
No,
a big difference.
Yeah, and like Lou said,
me too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, but and then like. Honestly, like I'm kind of happy I started that way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've learned so much in the last 4 years. Like, it's like Luke said, like I started off sweeping the floors and grabbing gun boxes. Like when I first started working the counter, and that's like, if somebody was busy, I'd hop in and they'd be like, let me see that right there. And I'd pick it up and be like, that's a Glock 19. It holds 15 rounds of ammo, it's like, check it out. Like
you were learning as the customer
as I went, and like and it's just like and this is how I started guiding, right? And this is kind of how I've like live my life, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? So it's the fake it till you make it thing, and we've talked about this before. That's how I started guiding. Like I commercial fished before I guided, like, but I wanted to be a guide. Like I wanted to be a guide like when I was 13, right? So when I got in this situation where I could be, like, I started dressing like a guide. I started acting like a guide. I started like doing things that guides do, like being out on the river all day and fishing. Like, you know, I started just, you know, putting myself like in that position, and it like manifested itself, right? Here, like, those times that, you know, that I didn't know anything, like I would kind of circumvent. Like if I felt like I was losing the confidence of a customer, I just like bring up Alaska and be like, oh yeah, I'm a guide up in Alaska. Like, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Let's distract this guy with all my cool stories.
I give a story or two, and then like we bullshit, and then they'd end up buying a gun, and I sold a lot of guns that way. I mean, but a lot of my knowledge, and I think that's why like I always used to like text Luke at night, is because like I would sit there at night and I'd watch YouTube videos on reviews, and like I especially knew a lot about stuff that I owned. I probably sold more 365 XLs than anywhere in
the entire tri-state area, because that's what you carry. The thing about you, and I'm sure you've figured this out about yourself, maybe we've even had this conversation, is you are an overthinker in a good way, meaning you replay your day every day. It's something that I'm not that great at, but I know when you're on the river, I know you will go back to your cabin and you will think about the entire day. I know that when you're working the floor here, and that's the reason I know that is because of those text messages. Your ideas come to you because you go home and you will think about every minute that you worked the floor, and, oh, I talked to this customer about this. Could I have done this better? Does this inventory need to change? Do these things need to go away? And that's, you know, that's ultimately what we do here. Is we are a retail shop, and the goal is to move items out the door and collect cash for it. And if you're constantly revisiting all of those things, you're a more efficient retail shop.
You're going to get better at it.
Yeah, it's just it's like, I mean, reflection is like a huge part of my day, right? I mean, because I don't know, like even guiding, like I don't know everything about guiding. I don't like, I sure as heck don't know everything about this industry yet.
Right.
But I mean, like it's just like, it's like training, right? You can look at it two ways. It's like you can like shoot at a target and be like, oh dang it, I missed. Or you could be like, you know what, I think I might have like tweaked my wrist a little bit.
Why did I miss?
Why did I miss?
Right.
Like, and like, I don't feel like I get better in life unless I do that. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's just the way I've always been. Courtney sometimes gets annoyed with it at night.
No.
Like, but you know, and I think like, and you like, you read and hear about like most successful people that, I mean, your job or your career, it consumes a lot of your life. But like when I get home, sometimes I don't quit till like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Like, I mean, I'll like come up to her, give her a hug, be like, all right, sweetie, I'm done, you know. Like,
my brain is finally okay.
But I mean, it's just, I try to better myself. I mean, it's just one of those things.
That's the similar personality trait. Dave has owned businesses before. And Dave, have you ever woken up at 3 a.m., had a thought, and then not been able to get back to sleep because it was a business thought?
Only twice a week.
Still.
It's all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I text you. I do the same thing. I'll text you at night, you know, hey, this Chrome thing we got going on, are they sending tints with that? Because I'm making plans, you know. And
it was, I don't know, 9 o'clock last night, which I don't mind text at any given time from friends, right?
Yeah. Sure.
There's other people that can fuck off. But no, but I know that that's how your brain works, because at 9 o'clock, which is probably a good 5 hours after you've left for the day, or maybe 2 hours, depending on your day, because you're here all the time. You just, hey, did we get that thing?
Yeah, because I'm probably watching a YouTube video about one thing and thinking about another thing at the same time, and
and texting me
dinner
about
and dogs thing. And all that, you know, and so just all the time, you know, I'm always trying to push myself, always trying to grow, and you know, me kind of handling this hair coat thing now and doing most of the design work and most of that kind of stuff. I'm just always pushing myself there, and always like looking for other things, and, you know, considering builds, maybe shop builds, maybe customer builds that are coming up, and I'm always thinking about what we can do that's super cool.
And that's what I love about you.
Are you having Tetris dreams about Cerakote yet? Do you know what I mean by that? Remember Tetris? And then you'd close your eyes and you couldn't see anything. Yeah. Do you have Cerakote dreams like that?
I don't remember my dreams at all.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. I have moments like that where I'm driving home. You know, I'm just, how am I going to do this thing? Like Steve's graffiti gun, it consumed me for like 2 weeks.
You mean the coolest gun ever made in the history of Earth?
Ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy. There's 16 colors on it, and there's patterns on it, and
how many
there's
layers is in that?
There's everything, all of them,
all the layers
are in that gun.
Crazy.
But in order to accomplish that, I had to figure out how to do, and I screwed up once and had to unfuck it.
Almost burned the building down with everybody inside of it and threw things.
Yeah, I was pretty upset when that happened.
And then you recovered.
But I did. But just same kind of deal. You know, like I'm just consumed with that thing, and I want to be better at that. And I think that's why you're good at your job, because you approach it in that way. You know.
Yeah.
It's it's one of the reasons, and you guys, everybody here is probably caught on, especially when Adam's here. I am not at the shop nearly as much. I come in, I might lock my office up, I might walk around because I still do all the buying, most of the inventory, except for apparently Adam spent some money yesterday that I just learned about today.
Hey, I thought that was it'll sell.
You know, I don't care. But no, I come in here, like I was here last night, and I was here pretty late last night, and I get my best work done when there's nobody here, because then I can sit and reflect on, so I've bought a lot of these things and they're not moving. Why? Do we need to advertise differently? Which advertising for a firearms industry is very difficult in today's world, because the platform that you're listening to this, if you're on YouTube, is anti-firearm, right? Yeah. So lots of different things that I get to reflect on and think on a different level. Now, I kind of still wish that it was I talked to that customer and I handled that differently. But that's what we have the sales staff for. That's what we have people on the floor for. And I'm trying to more figure out, okay, why did I buy 20 Glocks in April of last year and they went great, and 20 Glocks in April of this year and it took 3 times longer to sell them? Just things like that.
Sure.
And it's I can do that the best when I'm here running reports. Looking through, our software system allows me to do exactly what I just said.
The min-max.
Yeah. I can, don't get me started on min-max, because it allows me to do everything except for min-max.
Dude.
But no, I can look and see how many Glocks we received in 2021, when the peak month was, and then in 2022, and I can compare this to, and that's just one example. Glocks are still selling super well. It's one of our top sellers, but that's the example that comes to mind because I was looking last night. We have an entire table full of Glocks.
We do.
So I was just kind of looking at what's the sales trend, and it's lower this year because you can find toilet paper, and not everybody thinks the world's going to end in a burning ball of fire
Tuesday.
Right. It still will.
Yeah.
It's just not happening tomorrow.
It's pretty crazy to look at the economy from a retail perspective.
Yeah.
Isn't it though?
Yes.
Like, I mean, you watch the news and like watch what's happening, but you see it in the shops so much.
It's crazy. You can see it weekly, how things change. And all the way down to, so most people know that we're building an indoor range, and it's been a hell of a journey, and finding contractors and finding the work to get done and just stuff. And it looks like we're pretty finalized on that. And I'm dealing with the bank. I don't, contrary to what a lot of people would tell you about me, I don't have $800,000 sitting around. And when I started this, the interest rate on that $800,000 loan that I was going to get was around 3.5%. It's 7.5% now. And
that's not bad.
It's not.
Right now. Right. That's not bad.
That's what it was 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
But the difference that makes, $800,000 loan,
that's a lot of money.
It's honestly, it made the rest of my hair turn gray, right? Looking at the difference, it is what it is. The business will pay for it, whatever. But that's the things I get to come in here and reflect on but my eye's not twitching.
I know. It's not it's not even my
until they
money.
start construction.
Oh,
Right. He got to go to Alaska to get his eye to stop twitching. I just had to wait for mine to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it's not, and that's the thing. And I like at any given time, I'm like so sympathetic with your money, right? It's like, And that's like, as we're really like minded, like, and when it comes to this, so it's like crap, man. That's a big but like you said, like I'm really excited about it. I mean, for business here, I think it's just gonna that and the half hour before work and after work that
Oh, absolutely.
get to shoot.
You mean all the times we're gonna? I'm imagining poker night, but with guns, right? Like, we're gonna have poker chips in here to bet on who's doing what.
Yeah.
But no, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. It's just it's a different type of business that I would have imagined myself doing 15 years ago when I was, I was already a sales guy by then, but there was a time, very short period of time before that, I was working in factories, and it was 6 days a week, and it was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and it was hard physical labor.
But that's where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, in the country.
That is, we are in the Rust Belt.
Yeah. I mean, that's normal life here for, and it's not in a lot of the rest of the country, but that is normal here.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it. There are days where I would rather go use my body than my brain.
Sure.
Well, for me, like the industry that I've been working with, this is like the most conducive that I could think of, right? It'd be like an outdoor shop or something like that. Yeah. I'm not a squirrel to be put in a wheel like to do the same thing every day. I can't do that.
I've done that too. Made a lot of money doing it, and I hated my life.
But like making strides, like, and about like the stress and like taking on this stress. I saw, I think it was like a meme or something that said, it's like, oh, your life got more complicated. Congratulations, you just took a step forward.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that you don't get to the point where you're at unless you sacrifice.
It's got to be challenges.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
cool. Oh, we love challenges though.
Yeah.
We're not always the greatest at them.
But we always try real hard. Yeah. We always win.
We always win.
We may screw it up once or twice in the process, but
if that doesn't work, we just
we have one loss. We have one loss in the last year that I can think of, and the chroming's going to fix it. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning from chroming, which we couldn't do, glacier chrome, to flames.
Flames,
which were the ugliest gun I've ever seen. And I painted it. I think I painted it. Oh, yeah. No, the ugliest gun is hanging on the wall back there. But the ugliest gun that we've ever done.
That we've ever done, yeah.
And then we ended up just changing and not doing it that way. Yeah. But he was in the other day. And I said, I need you to bring it back.
That's what's up.
I'm going to chrome it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I haven't even, we'll announce it right here. I'll tell you. So we bought into this, it's a newer technology. Well, it's been around for 20 some years, but they've figured a way to apply it to firearms, moving parts. You can chrome wheels and you can do all that stuff, but it lays on too thick. So the benefit of Cerakote is it sprays on very thin. It's very durable. And all of the reasons it was designed just tend to lend towards the firearm industry. And that's where Cerakote has grown its most. I think it was even originally for like the automotive
pistons.
Yeah.
Pistons is where it was developed, but then it went from there. Yeah.
And then somebody figured out, well, if it'll work in those type tolerances, it'll work in firearms. Well, this chroming process is actually a silvering process. It's not true chrome. We are able to lay a layer of silver down on a product, and we can lay it down in a clear coat now, and we can use the thin clear coats like what Cerakote uses, and then we can turn that clear coat into an actual mirrored silver finish. Yes.
So basically what he's saying is we can chrome anything.
We can chrome anything.
Anything.
Because you can clear coat.
Except your cap. Yeah. We can't chrome your cap.
We might try because it's you this is a non-bake process. So we might try.
It's UV, yeah.
So it's wood, plastic, metal, moving parts included, and you can tint it. That's where Dave was saying, like last night, just randomly, hey, did you get a tint kit with this? I spent a lot of money on it. We spent close to $15,000, and we're not done yet. Like we still gotta, and I gotta talk to you after the podcast. But
always
squirrel. But we can make it look gold as well. There's a gold tint, and it looks gold. I've seen pictures.
We're gonna be like the tri-state,
Absolutely.
like AK gold plater.
I ordered 10 high points the other day. You ever seen one of those show up at the shop? No, not until I can make one gold.
Gold
Put
cannon.
that shit on Gunbroker for $400 and make a 7,000% markup or whatever it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's really cool.
That's what we're talking about.
We've been trying to do that for a couple years now.
It started. It was 2 years
Jesus.
ago.
Yeah, because like we thought we were gonna have to get a tumbler.
Yeah. We've went down the path consistently of how do we make something shiny like that, because silver Cerakote with clear coat over it is not the same. Gold Cerakote with clear coat over it is not the same. It looks good.
Yeah.
It's a good look,
But
it's not
matte.
it's not gold plating,
Right.
Which is this stuff will look like gold plating and silver plating,
Shiny.
and purple and pink and all those other really shiny stuff.
Those would be cool. Like a lot of people like the exclusive, like the Lipsy is exclusive. They have all the cool colors.
And hopefully it'll take us outside of the firearms industry as well. I mean, there is motorcycle applications, vehicle applications. You know, I've got a black F-250, and although I really like the blackout look on vehicles, I've got a Lariat which has got a lot of chrome on it. And I've already thought to myself, we take all the chrome pieces off and make them gold, right? And black and gold.
gold hubcaps on my Altima.
But yeah, there's a lot of applications outside of the firearms, so hopefully we get into that as well.
That'd be cool.
But
Too bad the hood won't fit in the sandblast booth.
a gold hood, I'm all about it.
Driving,
I guess we're buying
driving east
outdoor-
in the morning would be terrible. Just terrible.
I guess we're buying an outdoor sandblaster.
Why do you have a welding helmet on on your way to work?
Drive to work. All right. Well, hey, I think that was a good first talk.
Yeah.
Having you back, and
We didn't even get into guide
it.
stories.
No, you're gonna be on. We're gonna be able to fill 10 podcasts with your guiding stories.
Oh, I don't know about that. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as we squirrel, I guarantee it.
You don't think you can talk for 10 hours?
Oh, well,
Shit, I know I can.
Me too.
I'm that guy.
I mean, this one's early in the day. Wait until the afternoon when we start drinking.
Well,
Right, you know.
that's. I think that would be a fun
Speaking
one.
of six pack, well, yeah.
Throw a little Bud Light in there.
You know what Jen said the other day? Jen's never had bourbon
Really?
ever,
Never had bourbon.
I didn't know she was a communist.
right?
How do you not have
She's
bourbon?
never like. Have you also never had steak? Like what? What's wrong with you? She's from here. Like, yeah. So that's we're gonna have to have her back on the podcast, and it'll be a bourbon podcast.
And that's what's up.
That's what we need, because we've got a couple bottles in here and a couple bottles in my office, and we don't really drink that much here.
I say no, we don't really.
we
But,
really don't. But
I say we do a shot every 9 minutes for the podcast.
I don't know. Whiskey.
that's 10 shots in an hour. Or no, that's bad math. 10 shots in an hour. like there's 100 minutes in an hour.
Thank goodness you have a calculator. I'm just saying.
I promise I'm not a dumbass, and I'm actually pretty good with math, but that one just popped in there. Yeah, we'll do that at the end of business someday.
Sure.
And I'll have my wife here to drive
And
me home.
my-
Yeah, I was
Mine
gonna
as well.
say Courtney will be on standby.
Yes. Yep.
And I will do Bud Light.
We'll do those on inventory days when we usually there will be a case of beer floating around on inventory days. Right? We'll do one of those days. All right, cool. I'm gonna let you get back to work. I got things to do, and
Don't forget to talk to me.
I love talking to you, Dave.
I know. Who doesn't?
I already forgot what I wanted to talk to you about. I shit you not.
Huge surprise.
No, there was a thing, but I'll figure it out
Okay.
at some point. And yeah, thanks for joining us. And if you like the content, I'm going to take some time to ask if you guys would like and subscribe and all those things. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, you're probably catching us because you've already subscribed. But if you're on YouTube and you just happen to scroll through, go to the podcast app and get us set to download automatically. We try to drop a podcast every Monday. I have been not the greatest at that, but we're working on a backlog so that we have every Monday again. So go and subscribe to the Crossed Rifles if you aren't already, and hit that like button, and we do appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stay frosty.
Sweet.
You're going to be in the middle.
Okay.
Your pivot man.
I'm pivot man.
You can wear headphones or not. You will be able to hear yourself in them, as well as people. It kind of gives it a different...
Let's try it.
You'll be able to hear yourself as well as people.
Start talking like this.
Yes, because you're loud. And so we
right.
Well, that's adjust.
Yeah. Yeah. Some say that my boat's not the best for nature tours.
What? You scare away all the animals a mile before you get there?
Wow.
That's not surprising.
Yeah. Like, no joke, like, steelhead season, a lot of times people don't like fishing around me.
Yeah.
Just because, like, every time I catch a fish, it's just like, and you can hear that crap. Like, we'll see how it goes, though.
Sorry, my cord was too short. Story of my fucking life.
Heard that before.
As long as you have the right input.
You know what? Speaking of which, I'm going to make sure
I'm not picky.
and I'm all about less work.
Less.
I can't say that. I think everything I do twice as hard as I have to.
Yeah, I resemble that remark.
Hey, let's do this 3 times and screw it up the first 2.
Hey, let's polish an entire AR without any of the proper supplies. Let's just do it.
Yeah, with a Dremel.
Yeah,
with the wrong Dremel.
The wrong Dremel.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of